you can get the ad-free experience on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/who's right.
So, you know, I had a work trip that I had to take, which is why we didn't record yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is going to be hard for me to get through. I might get emotional.
Okay.
It wasn't a fun experience. Okay, so I went with the president of our company.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep that in mind, right? So I am trying to be my best self, live my best life.
Eat, pray, love, and all that bullshit. Okay.
So I made it the entire trip without cussing one time.
Uh-huh.
Which is really good for me. Okay, so I didn't want to do anything that embarrassed me in front of, What?
That's just funny. I'm sorry. I didn't want to do anything that embarrassed me. I think that's like just, okay, I'm going to live normal life today. I mean, that's just regular, right?
Anyway. Okay, so we left work at noon on Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
We had to catch a flight out of Wichita like an hour and a half later. Okay, so that left an hour and a half to get from where we're at to Wichita.
Okay.
It takes about an hour to get to Wichita, which left a half hour to get through security.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Okay, so from the time that I left work to the time that I got home last night was nonstop running. Okay, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
Throughout the course of these next couple stories I'm going to tell you, I was just more and more exhausted.
All right.
Okay, so the anxiety of flying started on the trip on the way there because it's like, fuck, now, so I got to ask for this fucking stupid seatbelt extender, and I don't want him to see it, whatever.
You don't want your boss to know you're fat. Okay.
I told you this is going to be emotional. I could do without your fucking peanut gallery bullshit.
Sorry. Can't help it.
Okay, so let's see, I get checked in. We wait around for about 3 minutes before it's time to board because he cut it so close.
Mm-hmm.
And I make sure to hang back a little bit so I can ask for the fucking seatbelt extender without him seeing it, whatever. So, you remember when I told you the story about when I asked for the seatbelt extender and the flight attendant said, I don't think you're going to need it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked this one for the seatbelt extender, and she's looked me up and down and went, yeah, this seems right.
That's hilarious.
She said it with her eyes. She didn't outright say that.
No, I understand.
Okay, so my seat was a second from the back of the plane.
Uh-huh.
Okay, as you're sitting down, I was on the left-hand side. This becomes important later. Okay. So when I picked my seat, I purposely picked an aisle seat near the back because that's where I feel most comfortable.
Okay.
So I left the window seat. The window seat was left open. So what I was hoping is that if somebody else had to pick a seat, they wouldn't pick that because they wouldn't want to get smashed.
Sure.
So my plan fucking fell apart because it was a full flight.
You should have
Okay.
bought 2 tickets. So
I'm sitting there, and then there's just this thing that happens when you're the obese person on the plane. Remember, I'm sitting in back, so I can see everybody filing in looking for their seats.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this thing that happens when they're scanning the seat numbers up by the luggage thing, whatever.
Sure.
And they're trying to find theirs. They're counting their way down as they're walking. And then they look to see, okay, who am I sitting next to? And they look at me and there's a little bit of panic. And then they realize that they're sitting in front of me and there's some relief.
All right.
Okay. So I realized okay, there's a huge crowd of people coming and there's only so many seats. So somebody's going to end up sitting next to me. And there was this, he was I don't know, 7'3", 500-pound guy.
Awesome.
And he landed right in front of me, and I was like, whew. I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to sit next to that tubby son of a bitch.
Awesome.
Okay. So this Mexican girl, I mean, she was super fucking hot. She looked like a Mexican Salma Hayek.
Wait. All right. That's cool.
So
you really painting a word picture for me.
So she comes, she starts walking, and immediately behind her is, if I say, think of Mexican cartel member, like I don't know what comes into your mind. In my mind, it's like a businessman that looks like he'll slit your throat.
Yeah.
And he's been to prison.
Right.
Okay, that's what this guy looked like.
Okay.
Like he looked super intimidating. I don't intimidate easy. This guy scared me.
Did he have a white suit on? I always think of a white suit when I think of our cartel. I don't know why.
He looked like, like a Machete.
Yeah.
He looked like a cross between Machete and Pablo Escobar.
Like the Johnny Depp Pablo Escobar.
Okay, so he's walking with the Mexican girl.
All right.
And I could see him point right above my head.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
he said,
fuck.
Bitch, sit there.
No, because I thought he was pointing out his seat. So I'm like, this guy's going to fucking stab me. It turns out he was telling her that's where her seat was.
Oh, awesome.
Which is worse. I would rather have him than her.
You'd rather get stabbed?
Okay. Again, I don't know if you know this or not, but I am mildly obese. And when I am sitting, if you see me out in public, like out at a bar,
yeah,
I am just full of fake self-esteem.
Okay.
But when I'm sitting in an airplane, I am extremely vulnerable.
Okay.
Because I have a seatbelt extender in my hand. It's the equivalent, like if you could imagine you're taking a shower and you got to take a shit. Mm-hmm. So you jump out of the shower and you sit on the toilet naked. That's a vulnerable position to be in.
Gross.
Like if somebody was to break into your house, that's the last place you want to be, is naked on the shitter.
Right.
Okay, that's how I feel the entire time I'm on the airplane. So anyway, she comes and sits next to, or she comes and stands there. And remember, I have the aisle seat. Mm-hmm. So I go to stand up so she can get in, and she goes, no, it's fine. You move. And I'm like, no, I think you'll be more comfortable if, because I can spill out into the aisle and you'll be fine. But if you put me up against the wall, I'm going to spill into you.
It's nowhere to go. Right.
And she's like, no, it's fine. I mean, she's speaking very broken English, but no, fine. No, fine. I'm like, okay. So I take all my shit and move it up and scoot over to the window seat. And I am pressed as hard against the wall as I can be, so I'm not spilling over into her seat. Like, my arms are crossed to try to make myself small.
Awesome.
Okay. So the whole flight, from the time that she sat down next to me, so I forgot to mention her, the Machete Escobar guy, he was sitting across the aisle, one row up. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the entire time, if he wants to look at her, he's got to lean forward and then crank his head all the way to the left. And he did that no less than 25 fucking times. Like and I was sitting there watching him, and he would just do it real quick. Like he thought he was going to catch me fingering her or something.
Did he?
No, so it was like a really weird love triangle. Like I was trying to not sweat on her. She was trying to not get sweated on, and he was trying to identify where he was going to stab me at.
Right in the sweat glands.
The whole time he's sitting there, like he just leaned forward real fast, like Arriba! And he was just looking all like, I don't know. He was looking all Mexican-y at me. If you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
So, do you think she was a whore and he was like just trafficking her or something? Isn't that how that works? All women on plane are trafficked, right? You're not really allowed to fly unless you're being trafficked.
Well, if he was actually a mule, I mean, they don't traffic them. Don't they just put them in a bus or something, or like in a fake seat in the front of the car or something?
No, they pretend like it's their girlfriend or something, and they're like smuggling him into America to be a maid or a whore or truck driver or something. I don't know.
Well, she didn't ask me for help.
she knew that guy kept looking at her. She didn't have time.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like I said, it was just constant.
Did you talk to her at all?
No, fuck no. I'm not getting fucking stabbed. I told you he scared the shit out of me. Okay, so that was the trip to Chicago.
Okay.
Okay.
How long was the flight?
Hour and 40 minutes.
Okay, that's not terrible. It sucks.
You
but
sit
that's not
crumpled
terrible.
up in a fucking fetal position
All right.
with a stupid fucking mask on.
Oh, you have to wear the mask the whole time.
Oh, so that okay, I'll get into it, but that's like the worst part of this whole fucking trip is.
Ugh.
So Chicago, I don't know if you know this or not, but Illinois is full of fucking liberal retards.
Yep, I know. I'm fully aware.
So every Uber, every taxi, going out to eat, the convention I was at, everywhere but the hotel room, I basically had to wear a mask for the entire time.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I was already feeling like my will to live was diminishing after that flight.
Okay.
Just because, okay, for you, it would be like you trying to ride in a car seat. It's the equivalent. It's the same thing.
Cool. Do I get a pacifier? That kind of helps me sometimes.
No, but try to look cool riding in a car seat, right? I mean, that's what it is. So
I wouldn't know how to look cool riding in a Ferrari. Are you kidding me?
oh, okay. So
That reminds you of something else?
yeah. So when you go through security, they make you take off your belt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for me to save the humiliation of trying to put my belt back on, standing at the end of the security line, I just threw it in my bag.
Okay.
So I am shaped kind of like an upside down triangle. So it's hard to keep my pants up without a belt.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm from the time that I walk off the plane to the time we get to our Uber, I'm trying to carry my bag, carry my cup, and hold my pants up at the same time.
Just put your belt back on.
You ever see somebody whose ass crack shows and they're just walking?
Jamie is taken away.